Alright, guys, give me a second to figure out how to share this. This is live chat. Is it this maybe? That doesn't look right. Can I just copy? Guys, hold on. 1 second. Here we go. Copy. Sorry about that. Let me try to figure out how to share this. I haven't perfected live streaming yet. That's what this is all about. It's just learning. Oh, nice, Artie. Here we go. Let's see here. This is the page. Let me do right click over, see what it gives you guys, and here's the live stream, and there we are. Cool. So hopefully that works. I have one person watching, and that's probably me. Hold on. Alright, how do I pop chat out so I can see that? And minimize that, and I'll do this, and then we'll wait for anyone to come into the room before we start, so I'm not sitting here talking to myself the entire time. So if you're watching this after the fact, go ahead and feel free to skip until you see my mouse moving around. I'm gonna get on to Facebook here for the group. Joe says it's working. All right, Joe. Can you message on the YouTube so I can see it pop up? Sorry, I was also dictating because I said it on Facebook too, Joe. Because if you're watching, Joe, you can see that I have the live chat up, and I want to just make sure that it's all working. Because it says I have 0 viewers on that. This says I have 4 viewers. Who's on? Nope, there's Joe. Cool. Who else is there? Go ahead and give me a shout out so I can see who we have. We've got some people just watching. They don't want to let us know who they are. I'm gonna wait for Arbery to come on because she was there at the shoot with me, so I want to make sure she gets the full look through and she can ask some questions. So how are you doing, Joe? So spooky? How does the sound? Is the sound okay? What's spooky about it? That I'm talking to you through YouTube? Joe, I know where you live. There's also a lag. So you guys lag, I think, a good 30, not 30 seconds, but almost behind what I say. Yeah. So if I'm slow to reply, it's because the way I stream for some reason is laggy. I'm going to have to figure out how to catch it up a little bit. But I do notice when I watch other people stream, they do lag a little bit too, so it just might be the norm. Five people now. Let me bring up my Facebook. I'm gonna have to time it. Jeez, it is lagging way behind back here. Because that just popped up over here. It might be faster just to type in the Facebook group. Oh, that was a good, minute. Why is it so laggy? Probably because my internet's really slow. I share internet with 10 other people, so hopefully it'll be a lot faster when we get over there. There's 5 watchers. Who else is there? I'm waiting for one specifically. Are you there? Let me bring up probably close these. Facebook group. Audrey, are you there? I try texting it. Shh. Give it a couple more minutes and see if... Oh. That would be Marisa. Let me send her a message. So how are things over there, Joe? Yay, she's here. Alright, you guys ready? My computer's super slow too, so you guys are lagging a little bit behind me. So if you have any questions, just keep in mind that it's taking me a little bit to see your questions. Alright. So, what I think we're going to do is I'm just going to start doing what I normally do when I'm looking at photos. When I upload them, I always upload them to Lightroom. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick cull. I've already culled my first batch. So over here on filters in Lightroom, I can go filters off. And you can see that brought up a whole bunch more photos here. I don't usually take so many photos, but because we were using the smoke machine, I had it on high continuous. So I wanted to just make sure I caught everything. Lots and lots and lots of photos. So I already did a first cull. So once you do that, to cull, you just pick the photo and then you hit P on your keyboard and it just picks it. And then once you've flagged all the ones you like, you can go over to the filter here and then go to flagged, and it'll just show the ones that you flagged. So I will go through and I'll do that, and then I'll go back to the beginning because sometimes I'll pick a couple that are pretty similar, or I'm only giving a client 20 pictures but I still have 50 pictures to choose from. It's just kind of a way of slowly dwindling down to a good amount of photos to look at. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through here and just do a cull. Maybe I'll tell you why I didn't choose a photo. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is just how I particularly do it, and it is seemingly to be a popular way of uploading and culling your images. So this is actually the very first picture we took, and she's wearing that jacket. I just thought it was interesting. I love that the light was so pretty, but when we finally got shooting, we lost the light. Alright, we have, hi, how do you do that? Select the ones you want to edit without exporting. Are you in Lightroom, Alma? Okay, so you know how to import to Lightroom, but you want to choose the ones, or you want to edit the ones before exporting? Like flag them? Okay. Because you know how to import, so you go to File, Import Photo Videos, and then you'll choose your camera or your card from over here, and then they load them in, and then this is what you have. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you're in Library and push N on your keyboard, and that'll put you into survey mode. So I'm going to push N now. And what it does is, if I hold shift, so I have the first one clicked, and I hold shift, I can shift click to like 4 of them, and it'll bring 4 up. And I can go, like, maybe I like this picture, so I want to keep this one. I'll hit P for pick, and then I'll move on to the next bunch. So I'll click, and I'll go to the next bunch, and then I'll go, well, I like this one, and I kind of like this one. I'll hit P for pick. You see how it says flag to pick? And you just go to the next batch, and you keep going. You pick your favorites. And then once you've gone through all your images, you can go over to the flag, the filtered. The filter is down here on the bottom right, and go to flag, and it'll bring up everything you flagged. So once you've done that, now you want to go through all the ones you've chosen and get rid of the extras that you decided that you liked at first, but now you don't like as much anymore, because you want to get down to a certain amount. So I still have 38 images to choose from, but I know I'm not going to edit all 38. So I'm going to go ahead and just go through, and I'm going to do it again. But instead of hitting P for pick, you're going to hit X for rejected. So X rejected the image, and now it's gone. It's back with the rest of them. Does that answer your question? Sorry, I talk a little fast. We're Californians. So I'm just going to go through and hit X on all the ones I don't like. I don't like her feet, and I don't really like this haze here. I like this picture a little bit, but not really. I'm going to keep it for now. I'm going to bring up, see, I already edited these last two here. This is the before and after. So this one here is the picture, and then this was here's with the edit. Yes, thank you. I'm a big Photoshop, not Lightroom. Yeah, I like Lightroom for culling and importing. I don't do a lot of editing in Lightroom either. I'll do some really basic things and then go to Photoshop. But I always import and cull here, and then I'll edit through here. So I'll export it to Photoshop to edit, and then I'll save back to Lightroom. And it's just a good way to kind of categorize and view all of your hair. Because if you see here all these dates, these are all photo sessions or the days I've gone out and shot. And I like that because I can go back, and then when a month is up or a year is up, and then I can export all of these and start with the like, there you are, Maddie. But I like keeping this as kind of like a Adobe Bridge. It's kind of an equivalent. Sometimes I will do a batch edit if it's a very similar image in Lightroom. If I want to do like, I want to change the white balance in all of the images, I'll do that. I'll just set it right and then do it to the rest, or, you know, just really basic light, maybe lightening an image, white balance, sharpening an image. I'll sharpen it a little bit, but I do actually do most of my editing in Photoshop. Okay. And feel free just to keep asking questions as we go. This is all about me learning what people want to learn and just kind of connecting with you guys. So this is the before and after, and this was absolutely positively edited in Photoshop. I don't think I did anything in Lightroom besides sharpening it a little bit before sending it over to Photoshop. So I can actually reject this before, since I've already edited this one. And then I'm gonna look at these two, and I really just like the right one, so I'm just gonna get rid of that one completely. The cool thing about artistic shoots, or even just fun shoots like these, is that you don't need a million photos. A good set of 10 or 20, if that, will work out perfectly. Not really liking these. Look at her foot. Yeah, we'll just get rid of that. That one's cute. I like the way that she's looking up. I see that these are all pretty similar here. I don't know, you guys. That one's hard. I think I like the close-up one. Let's see here. This one. This one looks like it's got an edit to it already. For some reason, it does. Let me reset that. And then if you guys can see, on the bottom here, I know it's really, really small, is you see these little stars here on the bottom? Like this one has a 1 star, this one has a 2 star, 1 star, 1 star. The one that I did choose over here has a 3 star on it. And there's ways to star your image in here to kind of tell if this is like a favorite. You can actually think, I have to remember, go back to library. And right here you have these stars. You can click the amount of stars you want, and it kind of shows up, so you can say, I want to put this as a 3 star and go back to my 3 stars later. But honestly, what these are also from is I work with the 5D Mark IV, and I know the Mark III has it too. I'm not sure about the Mark II, but they have a rate button on your camera. And when you view an image that you've taken and you hit rate, rate will put a star on that image, and you could put up to 5 stars on each image, and Lightroom will load it up and show you these stars. So anything that has a 1 star means the model liked this, because she likes to go through and look at the images after the shoot. So anything that's 1 starred is something she liked, and anything 2 or 3 starred is something that I liked. So if it has 2 stars, she liked it and I liked it, and if it has 3 stars, I really, really liked it and she liked it as well. Am I still shooting live there? Lost all my questions. Keeping up? Let's see here. Go through here. I don't like the princess here. Oops. Cool. Let me see. I'm just kind of looking at the position of her face and her arms here. It's hard. I'll keep them both for right now. We'll go back through. Oh, that one's beautiful, like that one. And then we've got these 3. They're very similar. I I do like the last one. She kind of looks, she's looking off. This one here, she's a little dead in the eyes. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with the right one. The right one looks very like inquisitive. She's like, what's going on over there? It's very pretty. And this one does have a light edit because I was quickly editing and throwing it up on my page today to use as an example of the bed. I just did a quick edit in Lightroom, but it's not something I'll keep. I'm not really caring for the loss of the dress on that one. I'll keep those for right now. And the next 4. Oh my goodness. It gets harder as you go on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on her face here. And I was shooting with the Mark III, so they're going to be a little grainy compared to when I shoot with the Mark IV. The Mark IV has 32 megapixels, and I think the Mark II has 24 megapixels. So there's almost a 10 megapixel difference, so I noticed that the Mark IV is a little sharper, especially when it's darker out. Let's see, this one looks like it's super soft in the face. Yeah. But it's pretty. She's like kind of dazing off. Oh, that one's super blurry. That's not too bad. Ooh, definitely the second one. This one there. Oh. Hey, Maddie! Oh, you missed it. You'll have to go back earlier. I showed a picture of you. You have to go back and watch. Back to survey mode here. They're all the same. For some reason, the bottom one draws me the most. Cool. So this is the first batch. I do notice that my fogged ones aren't in here, so I'm going to turn my filters off and start with these. So you get to watch the first couple of these. So at the very end, we turn the fog machine on. And everybody will know that either I have the fog machine or I throw her in water. Or at the mission, we did both. So we definitely brought the fog machine out for this one. So P for pick. So let's see here. I don't really care for any of those. Maybe that one. I like her face in this one though. Go back through. How about you, Artie? Did you get anything good? I saw you posted a few. Did you get anything good with the smug machine? Wait, I think you did post one. And you wanted to learn how to take out the fog machine. We'll have to do that. I like this one. Ooh, that one's pretty. Oh geez. We're not even halfway through. High continuous for the win. The smoke's all on her face. It was kind of last minute though. It was, Robert ordered me some peonies. And we're like, let's do a photo shoot with these peonies. And it's a good thing we did it because the next day they're all dying. It was really about the flowers. But I was thinking about doing another fun shoot, but do it in the walnut grove. We could take the bed out. And probably do it as like the last group walk thing. That and Alyssa wasn't available over the weekend. I was like, how about we do it Saturday or Sunday? And she's like, nope, I'll be out of town this weekend. I'm like, great. So we had to do it that day. But we'll do it again. Oh, and I got underwater stuff, Maddie, so we should go play underwater. We need to do some underwater photography. I like this one, but the smoke is in her face. Anybody have any questions of like how maybe I did something, or like how the background's really blurry, or any questions about, you know, the photo shoot in general? The wooden bridge at Pohick Loop Trail. Pohick Loop Trail. Oh, at Fort Belvoir. That's where we met. Is that where? That's the place we met, right? I don't quite remember. I know it was out by Belvoir, but is that the name of the trail? So, for all of those who know me, Joe is a photographer that I kind of just ran into. I saw her. She was taking pictures of her adorable little girl, and I was like, hey, I'm Isabelle. Who are you? And we've been friends since. So don't be afraid to go up to people and be like, hi, you're a photographer too, huh? Sorry. Now that I embarrassed you, Joe. Alright, so the cool thing about Lightroom is, to answer her question about the setting for these pics, is you can click on an image, and over here where the histogram is, it shows you. So over here it says my ISO is at 640. I was using my 200 millimeters, so for those who've seen it, I call it my monster, the big yellow 70 to 200. So I was at 200. I was shooting at 2.8, and I was shooting at 125 shutter speed. And that's really cool about this this program, is it shows you your settings. The reason why I chose Monster is because when you're shooting low in your aperture or your f-stop, you're already blurring your background, right? So if you're shooting at 2.0, your background's going to be blurry because your depth of field is very fine. Well, the cool thing about getting a telephoto lens is that when you zoom in with a telephoto lens, so if I shot at 200 at the lowest I could go, which was at 2.8, it compresses the background. So the background of the bed looks like it's a lot closer to her than it would have been if I was shooting with the 85 or the 50 millimeter that I have. If that makes sense to anybody. Does that answer your question, Joe? Sorry, I got sidetracked to answer her question. She's got like a very inquisitive face. Yeah, they start just blending into each other at this point, don't they? The 24-70 is a very good overall lens, because you can shoot wide open and then you can zoom in. You'll get a similar effect, but because the 70 to 200 is such a longer distance lens, you get a deeper compression. If you follow people like Meg Bitten and you see how her images are so creamy, she uses the 200 millimeter 2.0 lens, and it's like a $6,000 lens, but it's pretty amazing. So the longer the longer you can go out with the lower f-stop, the lowest you can go on your f-stop at the highest millimeter, which was my 200, you get a better compression. I know that doesn't really make sense. The 24-70 would still get a good image. It probably wouldn't get as high of a compression that I got in some of these images though. I'm sad, my 24-70 broke. It finally died on me. I've had that lens for over 5 years. It has been my go-to lens forever. And it just picked it up to use it, and it just no longer focuses anymore. It just decided I'm done. I'm retiring. Put me to sleep. So I'm super sad that I lost that lens. The thing has been through a lot though. I have left it out in the rain. I've taken on mud runs. It went through a lot before it suddenly did die. But it was an old lens comparatively to the fact that I used it so much. You hated your 24-70. Yeah, but was it a 24-70 2.8L? See, you're a Nikon, Maddie. I liked it. It was good for starting out, and it did a lot. I can borrow yours, yay! You're like, you can borrow mine if you can let me borrow yours. She's like, I want to play with Monster. You're a prime. I do like my primes. My 85 has definitely been my favorite lately. And then Robert got me a 50mm for Mother's Day. Because I was complaining at that flower shoot that my 85 was I had to be too far away. So he got me the 50 prime lens. And then I'm like, well, it's nice, but I'm definitely an 85 is my lowest that I want to go. I have the 70-200. Oh, you do have it. Is it the white 2.8? You have a Monster? Monster is amazing. It looks like Alyssa's even getting a little bored with this photo shoot over here by the end. She's like, I've looked off in the distance long enough. I'm going to fall asleep. The 70-200 for a family shoot. At one time I did. The 70-200 was actually my very first L lens, and I used it for everything. I loved the lens compression. I loved the bokeh it got. What I didn't like about it, though, was how far back you had to stand from your subjects. And I felt like I was a little disconnected to my subjects. So I upgraded to the 85, which gave me a lot of similar look to the 200. The 200 is an amazing lens, and I've been using a lot more again because I'm re-falling in love with it. But if I'm on a family shoot where we're constantly moving people around and adjusting and you've got kids running around, I would just suggest to do something that brings you a little closer to your subject. That way you're not standing like 20 feet away just to get everybody into the shot. It's a beautiful lens, but it's just so far away. Then you may not be able to stand 20 feet away from your subjects. Aubrey's being very quiet. You're just watching us cull? Maybe we lost her. Sorry, I'm getting a little boring. Just trying to go through these images here. So you've kind of seen everything that I have. What do you guys want to see me edit? Do you want to see one of these long ones with the smoke? Do you want to see something that's a little more portrait? What do you guys want to see? A lot of these at the end are very similar. But I've trained her to where she'll do little micro adjustments. So I'll just keep shooting and she'll just slowly move things around, look in different directions. When you're doing a model artistic shoot like this, sometimes I'll overshoot more than I would for a family session. This is way more shots than I would ever take. Ooh, these are pretty. Than I would in a real paid session. But when you're shooting for artistic and commercial, you tend to overshoot because your model will make micro adjustments and you never know when you'll get that shot. Somebody beat me. Hold on. Robert. My husband's texting me. He's over at the main house having cake because it's our niece's birthday. I like this one. This one's gorgeous. We can all just agree that Alyssa is an amazing model. We should have an editing party tonight. Isn't that what we're doing? You have cake and ice cream over there? Or at least something a little more special for an adult? I need to find, because I know in Skype you can like two-way chat, so you have one person, two people chatting with each other, and I think you can both share your screens. I'd love to be able to find something like that, but like everybody can share their screens. A real life editing party. You're always invited over. I don't have a baby tonight. But I would love it so we can all share screens, and that way if somebody has a question, I can look over at their screen and see what they're doing. I know there's something like, does Google Hangouts do that? I know Google Hangouts, you can see everybody's faces, but you can't see their screens. I'm not sure. But we're going to have a party tomorrow too, Maddie. I love these pictures at the very end. So we've completely lost all light by the end. Unfortunately. We've got some more. We had to wait for the smoke machine to warm back up. So we had a bit of a break. That sounds awesome. Yes. See, I need to be slower because there's such a lag. I don't know what you're saying yes to. Nobody's telling me what they want to see me. What do you guys want to see me edit? Something with a full body with smoke? Do you want to see a close-up? I definitely liked some of these here were gorgeous when they're kind of the close-up. A face swap. I bet you'd like a face swap. Who am I going to swap her face with? Here, quick, send me a selfie, Joe. But I love the close-up ones. Yeah, the close-up ones are gorgeous. Yeah, we've completely lost the light here at the end. By the time we got out there shooting, I didn't realize how long it was going to take to set up. Oh, come on, Joe. That's no fun. Send me a selfie. No, I'm kidding. Alright. So since we like this, the close-up ones, I'm going to go ahead and stop calling. But you can kind of see how I'm going through slowly and picking my favorites, and now I'm going to hit flag. And then what flag does was it brought up everything that I had already chosen. Let's see here. Close-up wise, let's see here. I really love some of, not that one. Well, I was in love with him a second. Oh, that one's a good one. How about that one? Do you guys want to do that one? Let me see here. I like this one. This one. I think one of these. Hold on. I gotta find which one it was. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which one do you guys want to see? These are the close-up ones that I like the most so far. I mean, I can always re-edit that one too. But it would be cool to choose a different one to work on, so. Because I can't guarantee it'll turn out the same. I'll wait for a number. Somebody throw a number out there. So we'll start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'd appreciate it if it wasn't number 2 because I've already edited it. And I'll have an expectation of having it to be the same edit because it won't be. But go ahead and choose one of those and we'll go ahead and we'll start editing. I know you're lagging a minute behind, so we'll give it a minute. And then just throw a number out there. Joe, throw a number. Aubrey, are you still there? I'm going to have to text you, Aubrey. You haven't been chatting with me. 4. Joe says 4. 4 would be this one right here, right? She's on Facebook. Hey, you there. Maddie and Joe are my 2 favorite people. Only because you guys are chatting with me. It's okay. We should all go to a workshop. Or we can go to Photoshop World. Oh my goodness, I have to show you the site. I'm sorry, I'm just waiting for another. I'm waiting for Maddie to confirm it. There's a workshop in France at an abandoned castle. I was like, oh, I want to go to France and do a workshop in an abandoned castle. Alright. The farm machine. Alright. So we're gonna do number 4. Maddie doesn't get a choice. Alright. So number 4 is this one over here. Nope, it wasn't that one. It was that one, right? Did I lose everybody? How many people are watching? I feel bad. I'm so slow and boring. Well, that's not YouTube. I'm trying to bring up my YouTube. Maybe I don't have a YouTube up. Oh, I do right here. My dashboard. My dashboard says that I'm lame. I have 2 people watching. Jill and Maddie, you guys are my favorite people. We're the only one watching. And I bet you Maddie's gone now. Alright, Joe. You want a face swap? We'll do that one. But we'll also do I have to find, it has to be similar. Did you send me a Dropbox? Because if you're the only one watching, we could totally just do that. You send me a Dropbox of anything you wanted to face swap, right? I could probably just do that. If you want to Facebook message me that Dropbox, I can download it real quick and I can use those. So in case anybody decides to go back and watch this later, I'm just going to keep talking. Alright, so the white balance looks pretty good. The image overall looks pretty good. I'm going to bring up the shadows a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. I always bring my sharpening because I shoot in raw, so I'm going to bring my sharpening up to 40-ish as I go to 48. 37, that works. I always sharpen it. If you shoot in raw, you always sharpen your image. Let's see here. Don't really need much else. I might come in here to my colors and maybe take my greens up. Just look, my greens here up just a little bit. You can also, cool thing here is you can also turn your greens yellow. So if you ever see those people who like it's fall when it's really not fall, here's the secret. Or you make it like really fake. Make your yellows orangey. You just have to be careful with your yellows because with her skin tone and her hair kind of fall into the yellow category. So be a little careful with that. Bring my shadows up a little bit more. Okay, Doug, you can stop doing that. Oops. Okay. Alright, so that's really all I'll really do in Lightroom. It's really just for culling, and then maybe I'll work, if I want to work my colors a little bit. Definitely sharpen if you shoot in raw. So now that you've done that, you can right click on the image, export, edit in. You want edit in, and then you can send it over to anything you have that's attached. So I'm going to edit in Photoshop. You click that. I'm going to open anyways because I don't need camera raw. And then we're going to get the beach ball of death. And my computer is running a little slow, I think, because it's been a while since I've shut it down. Just give it a minute. There we go. So then it opened it up in Photoshop. Does anybody have any questions about Lightroom? Because overall, we're pretty well just done with Lightroom. We'll save it in Lightroom when we're done, but we're done with Lightroom. Any questions? It's just Maddie and Joe. So Joe, do you have any questions? Wait, I have a third one. Arby's back. Arby, do you have any questions about Lightroom? Okay. Joe, do you have the Photoshop actions that I loaded onto your computer still? Shh. Mute your real quick. Shh. Girls. Girls. Stop it. What? Yeah, what? Joe, what the heck? Why? Lightroom, man. Stop it. I'm gonna get you out of Lightroom. Because that's all I do. I'm sure you do a lot more, but that's it. I move on, I do the rest of the work in Photoshop. I just feel like everything is so much easier to do in Photoshop. But I guess if you're trained in Lightroom, maybe Lightroom's easier. I just never really spent the time. It's so freaking easy. Well, Photoshop is so easy too, Joe. How do you feel about that? Like, no. We all start somewhere. Yeah, but when you're editing teenagers, like I tend to, I edit teenagers with skin problems, you can't just hit the previous button. Because you spend so much time on their skin and their acne and making everything perfect. You can't just hit previous on those. I will. I'm going to be there in a month, I hope. Okay, anyways, back to here. So I have Photoshop open. If you don't have these actions, I will load them into the Photoshop group for you guys. If you've taken my classes or we've done anything together, I usually just
give them out. These are just actions that I've created and accumulated together. I'm action heavy person. I don't like to do a lot of hand editing when it comes to some things. I just find that if you know your style and you create an action for that style, there's no reason to spend hours redoing it every single time. And everybody has their own way of doing it. I just prefer actions. So, if you want to know if you have your actions, you can go to Window and you can make sure your actions is checked. It'll pop up on this bar over here and it'll look like a little play button for a VCR. I have mine dragged over into here, so you'll see I have actions and then I have my history palette, and that's what we'll use over here. And down here is my my layers palette that we'll be using for everything. So if you have any questions along the way, I'm just going to talk through my edit, and then at the very end Jo wants me to do a head swap. So she's going to send me a link to her images that she wants me to head swap again on Facebook, and I'll download those real quick and then we'll do a head swap. Alright, so you never edit on your background image, and it says background. So you can drag it down here, or if you're a Mac, you can hit Command J and I'll create a background copy for you. Alright, so the first thing I tend to do is just work on the skin. And she's got a few scarring from her days of piercings. So I'm going to go over here to the brush tool, and I'm going to go to this Band-Aid, and this Band-Aid should be content aware. I'm going to make sure it's on content aware. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm just going to click over it, and, well, that didn't do very well. It's usually, and it's just gone. There we go. That's better. And I'll just kind of go through and just kind of click over any of the really big stuff that's pretty noticeable. And I like this brush. It's just an easy way to get rid of any little marks, like acne or scars or such. You just gotta be careful though, because sometimes it just doesn't work out right. It'll copy from the wrong area, because it just kind of chooses the area it wants to copy from. It tries to do it from the same area, but doesn't always work. So this area here I'm having issues with. So the way I like to change that is I like to go up to here and I go to this thing called the patch tool. And I'll just drag around. Whoops. And I'll just drag it to a nearby area. And it'll just blend those areas together. And I like to do it right here. She's got very thick lips, so that makes it her area down here, it gives it a little crease. I like to just even that crease out. And just to make sure there's no repeating looking things there. And then she's got a little dip here. So I want to make sure we get something that's similar without being just kind of play with it till it looks right. I like the patch tool and the content aware tool are my two favorite tools. Look, Jo, you can do it in Photoshop too. Can you do this in Lightroom? Yeah, you can. I know you can. But it's easier here. I'm picking on her. I choose you to pick on. Because my favorite redhead's not talking anymore. Gotta be careful. I don't want to go somewhere that's too bright. We'll come back and take care of the speckling. That looks like we're doing okay here. So it just kind of shows you, kind of just flattens everything out a little bit. I don't think she needs anything down in this area. Here. Maybe a little bit of scratchings. Alright. So I'm just going to right click my background and flatten image. Alright, so the next thing I like to do is to take care of the deep set of the eyes. So again, I'll make a new copy, never work on your background layer. Shh. Shh. You brought the whole cake over?
Uh-huh, I figured you'd like that.
Oh, he brought me cake, guys. Alright, there's two ways of doing this, and I'm going to go ahead and do the patch tool. I'm going to do this. I'm going to drag it down. I'm just going to make kind of a... I know it's going to look weird, but we're going to fix it. We're just doing this for a second. And she's got some thick pores there, unfortunately. Let's try up here. That's a little bit better. Alright, so now that it looks really, really weird, right? You're going to take your background and you're going to take the opacity and you're just going to come down on the opacity. And you'll see it starts coming back a little bit. See? Just kind of helps, that way it's not so deep set. You're taking it back. He brought me the whole cake and I was taking the whole cake away. He's like, yeah, and nope, bye. Alright. So we're looking pretty good. We can go to our history palette here. And you can hit the camera, and then it comes up here, and you can see it kind of gives you a before and after of everything we've done.
Yep, I got it.
I don't like this spot right here. I know I said never to edit the background, but this spot right here is not very blendy. Whatever works. Alright, that's a little bit better. Okay, so the next thing I might do is I'll run the frequency separation. And this is just kind of the ways a pro will go through and just really get in there. You don't necessarily need to do this. You can also run, if you own the Iagnomic portraiture. Yes, Robert, portraiture. It does something similar. What I can do is just show you the portraiture. So I'll make a new copy here and actually have an action for portraiture, but I'll show you the application. Thank you. He brought me cake. Go to here, portraiture, if you loaded it in, or if you want to purchase it, you want to see this is what it looks like. You want to create a transparency mask on the current layer. That's why I made a duplicate of the carrier. Of the layer, and then you want to select where you can kind of see off here to the right what it's selecting, and I do want it pretty thick on her skin, so that one looks good. There you go. And you don't really want to do much. Come in here. And it kind of shows you what it's doing here. And you can kind of mess with the settings. See how it's just completely smoothed her skin out. And I really love this. I think it's a $200 application, but it does an amazing skin smoothing. You can do some editing here too, but you really just want to do that. And then you have like these here where you kind of give you like smoothing high. What is glamour? Enhanced glamour. Oh, that looks really fake. Tones. High key. Whew. Low key. Whew. try high. I usually don't mess with the default, but we're gonna try this and just come back from it. You can always take away from it. That's why you do it on a new layer. So I'm gonna hit OK. And look at that. Okay, that looks super fake. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna take the opacity layer and you're gonna bring it back. It's like maybe we could have just left it at default. So that doesn't look as bad now. So now you'll notice that it's kind of soft in the eyes and in the hair. You don't want that, right? So you're gonna hide your background layer. And you can see everywhere that this action is taking. So I'm gonna actually bring it back up to 100, and then you can go through with an eraser. Oops, excuse me. Drop my mouse. And my drink. You can take this eraser on my bracket tools, stop it. Bracket tools, I'm gonna make it smaller, and then you just go through and you can erase. You don't want it on the hair, you don't want it on the eyes, or the eyelashes, eyebrows, lips, goodbye lips, nostrils, and you don't want it on the hair. You just want it on her skin. Probably get rid of this because I kind of want the headdress to be sharp. Joe, you still there? Or did you fall asleep? Am I talking to myself again? Still says I have 3 viewers. She's here, yay. What you doing? You just watching, or you got the babe? Are you editing? Do you have your Photoshop open? It's almost bedtime. Yeah, you're super late out there. 3 hours ahead. Do you have any questions? You want the head swap. How about we do a head swap? Do you want me to do a video, or do you want to do it live? Because we can just do that next time. You have it open? What do you think of this portraiture of the softening on the skin? Bring that back down. Love it. Yeah. It does a pretty good job. Okay. I like that. I've taken it off where I don't want it. I'm going to flatten my image. Oh, ouch. Alright. So I'm going to show you, because I'm still going to do the frequency separation. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. I'm going to continue. I'm going to hit that. Just hit OK. La-di-da. Alright. So Maddie knows all about frequency separation because she's helped me, and she's going to call me out if I'm doing something wrong. So the low frequency separation is for coloration of the skin, and the top one is for texture of the skin. And I like that because she has quite a bit of texture on her skin, but she's got very open pores. So I kind of want to come in here and just soften that up. So how you do that is you click that, and then you come to your clone tool, and you're going to clone from an area that doesn't have that texture. So you're just cloning the texture over. So yeah, just kind of gets rid of that. You got to be careful because you don't want to make it look too plasticky. But it did just get rid. See how well that did. Whoops. Just got rid of all of that. Problem is it can look fake fast because you still want some texture there. You don't want it completely smooth. Break some texture back in there. So this Joe you can actually do because it's just an action. You don't need a special program to buy. And I'm still trying to figure out how to use it most of the time. These are good for kids and newborns. I'm sure Maddie uses it all the time. To sharpen my raw images. Yeah. Sharpening your images if you shoot in RAW, because the camera takes it and goes, alright, well, here's the flattest image I can give you with the most information. If you want to do with anything, you need to do it yourself. You shoot in JPEG, your camera's going to automatically sharpen and edit it a little bit for you. But, yes, sharpen your image. That's all you learned is how to sharpen your image in Lightroom. You didn't learn how to get rid of acne and skin problems in Photoshop? She's like, I'm still not going to use Photoshop. You can't make me. We can kind of see where, like, any of those zits that we missed before with her skin, we can kind of just go through and get rid of it. But I like to do the other steps before because it'll give you smooth skin to work with. So that way you can just go right in. I'm gonna stand over and go, Joe, Photoshop. Photoshop now. Why are you in Lightroom still? Go to Photoshop. I'm gonna be your worst nightmare. No, I'm just kidding. But we're learning skin retouching in Photoshop right now, guys. That's super important, right? We haven't run any actions or any dodging and burning yet. So we're just still on almost the flattest image possible. We haven't done much to it yet. So that can show you how we got rid of some of that skin texture and just kind of flatten some things out. So now the low frequency is color, and she doesn't really have too many color issues. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to lasso, feather it to 20 to 30. Next session. And then you're just going to kind of go through to where you're having some maybe like red blending issues. I don't really think it's going to work on this image, but I'm going to hit Command G and that brings up my blur. You can kind of see, right, 8.5 is where we left it. We can kind of go up. You can kind of see how it deadens the area a little bit. So what we want to do is to kind of I'm just going to go ahead. So you can do that to kind of do the red. She doesn't really have anything to work with, I think. I think she's pretty good. Maybe down in here. Let's try that. And that kind of blended it in together a little bit. Oops. Alright, night, Joe. We'll do your head swap next time. Alright, so we got that. We're going to flatten it. And then go to your history and click the camera. And you have the before and after. And we've been here for a while. But with your artistic images, you really get in there and you really, if you want the best possible image, you definitely want to spend all this time. If it was a family session, I may not spend as much time in there, especially since I don't charge much right now. But here in the future, hopefully I'll get paid to do these type of sessions. But for a normal family session, I wouldn't be doing all this detailed work. All right. So now that we've done all of that, now we'll run actions. And if you have these actions, you'll see what they do. If not, I'm going to put them in the group. So if you're in my group, and if you're not in my group, I'm going to put the link to the group in the box below. And feel free to join the group. It's kind of my experiment group to teaching people and seeing if workshops and these live Q&As and things are something that people want to do in the future. Alright, so we're looking at my actions here. And I'm going to do my Roza, here we go, Isabelle Roza Basics. And this one's a favorite for many people. I'm just going to let it run. Okay, so that's very bright. So the thing about actions is it gives you the stuff to work with and then you take away. You never just say, okay, I'm done. Okay, because this is way too much. This is way too bright, way too flat. So we're going to go in here and the image, we're going to start taking some things off. I'm going to take the lighten off. I'm going to take the highlighter off because we don't really have, see how the highlight is, it affects the skin tone. So I'm going to take that off for now. Ooh, look at that. We're going to take off, let's actually take Shadow Brighten and take it down to a few notches here. Because I like it in the background. And here's the color pop, kind of gives it a little extra boost, which is really nice. Give you some extra things to play with, lighten mid-tones, that's pretty nice. Center, light, soft vignette. I'm actually going to take soft vignette off because I have a artistic touch action I'm going to run later, which is pretty much my signature look, and that has a lot of vignettes in it. Don't need to cool it. Don't really need to warm it either. What is this set at? This is set at 4%, so it's really not doing much anyways. The rosiness is very pretty in the background. Darkness is at 0%. You can always add it in later. So this is with the Bella Basics. Looks pretty good. And then you have the black and white. You can see what it looks like in black and white as well. And that's pretty so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep these here and I'm going to run I have my Artistic Touch. I'm actually going to run Dusk. Dusk is from the Florabella collection, and I can always add the link to the Florabella collection below. I've kind of used some of the techniques from Dusk and added them together into my Artistic Touch version. And I just really like the overall look. It's very strong out the gate, but now you can see where it's got a lot of vignetting to it. So if I take some of these vignettes off, you can see how it changes pretty drastically. So let's go ahead, and my first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down a little bit. I'm going to keep it at like 75-ish. That already looking pretty good. My foggy here, I like the foggy look, however it's a little bit strong. Let's bring it to here. And then what I like to do, so these are all called layers. And these come with what's called a layer mask. And white shows, black hides. So you want to click on the white on the layer to say I like the matte finish, but I don't want the matte finish on the face. So I can click on the white box next to the action set for foggy brown. I'm going to get a black brush and I'm going to put it at, I'm going to start at 50%. So I hit 5 on my keyboard, or you can come up to here and bring it down. I'm just going to kind of paint it off. You want your eyes as sharp as possible. The mouth. You usually just don't want it on the face, because you want the face to be sharp. Maybe a little bit of hair around her face here. Bring the back just a little bit. And you can kind of see what that kind of did there. It took it off the face. And then let's go down the list here. We've got the blue vignette. I like it on the far side, but I'm not really caring for it on the right side. As I said, all my edits end up differently because it depends on how I'm feeling that day. I'm going to go ahead and just open my brush, make sure you're on the blue vignette, and just kind of brush it off a little bit here. I kind of want this background to be a little bit brighter. Alright, then you have blue shadows. I really like that. Maybe don't like it so much on the face. I'm going to go ahead and try and just give it a click. Cool. And then you got the blue shadow in the background. I really like the blue shadow. Sometimes I'll double click it and you can change it. With this, it's such a romantic image. Might go up and maybe make it like a purple or a pink. Kind of just change it around a little bit. And see what that looks like. I might not like that. So I turned it purple and I'm going to bring it down. Yeah, actually, I like the blue. So I'm going to go back to my history brush. And you can click up here and it'll go up the history palette to where you want it to be last be. So I like the blue, but I don't like the blue so strong. Sorry, over here. So I'm going to kind of paint that out. See how that kind of just brought back the tree there a little bit? Up there a little bit. Okay. Then my next one's a brown vignette. I like that. I don't maybe like it so much on her. Whoops, that was the blue. Let me take, there we go. So you can take the vignette off her. This one has a color pop to it too. Warming. A heavy contrast. So here's that before and after. I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit more, I think. There we go. And then you can always see what your black and white would look like with that action too. That's really pretty. So. Alright. So, I think I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing. So I'm going to go ahead and right click and I'm going to flatten, and it's going to take some contrast off. Bless you.
Sorry.
Alright. So we can click the camera button here, and you can come back up here, and you can kind of see here's the before and the now, and you can kind of go through and look at all the little, bless you,
Sorry.
all the snapshots that we've taken so far. So that's super pretty. Let's see here. I'm talking to myself now. Alright, well, let's see here. So next I'm going to do a dodge and burn. And there's different ways of doing this. I like to do it on a new layer instead of on the layer itself. So you're going to click new layer. You're going to go to layer, Lide. Where is, let me fill that. I always lose this. We're looking for the fill right here. New fill layer. Nope. You want just fill. Where's my fill at? I always lose fill. Do you remember where fill is? Right here. Found it. Excuse me. It's on edit, and then down here it says fill. So you want the new layer. So I'm on layer 1. I'm going here. I'm going to hit fill. And I'm going to go to 50% gray. And now it's gray. And then you're going to go over to here and you're going to do screen, not screen. I am just not doing it. Overlay. So you can't even tell it's there now. So if you like click it on and off, you don't see any difference. And I'm going to drag that down and make another copy. So now I have 2 gray layers. I'm going to go ahead and name bottom one, if it'll let me name it. Let me name you. There it goes. We're going to name it Burn. And then we're going to name it Dodge. And there's different ways of doing it. And you can either paint white on it and paint black on it. or you can go to your dodge and burn tools and dodge and burn onto these layers. They're pretty similar. So if I go to burn, and you want to do it like where you would put makeup. You kind of want to just follow the natural darker areas, or where you, as I said, you may put makeup. And I usually keep it pretty high at first so you can kind of see what you're doing, and then I'll bring the opacity of it down later. So let me go here to a brush. See, it kind of does the same thing if you use a black brush on it. Just kind of paints it in, but a lot stronger apparently. So I'm going to actually go back and keep doing it with the burn tool. Go along the eyebrows, along the eyes. And you want to do it here, around here, follow under the chin. Just got some here, and then here. I don't know if I'm gonna like that one. You can always erase it later. There. Looking pretty good on that. So then when you do is you come down to opacity and you bring it to like 10%. See how it's like, now it's on. But you can kind of see how it just kind of gives you an extra little boost. So we're gonna go to dodge and come to dodge. And you're gonna do where you would put a highlighter for your makeup. So usually like right up in here into the cheeks. Down here. Along this lip line here like that. Usually right here on the bow. Up. And then down the middle of your nose.
What network are you connected to?
I'm assuming Smith, yes. Alright. Let me highlight some down here. Again, it's going to be stronger, and then we'll bring it down. It's just so that we can see where you're highlighting. Alright. So let's go ahead and bring that down. See? And then we go up to history and do this. We can kind of see between the dodge and burns. And I can see with it and without it. It kind of just gives it a nice little extra boost of bringing everything up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and right click and flatten this because I like how it looks. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to kind of enhance her eyes. She already has amazing eyes. And if you see in real life, they are pretty striking. Because it was so dark out, you kind of lost a little bit in the eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it right on the layer. I made a copy here. I'm going to take dodge. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of under the bottom of her eye, kind of give it a little boost here. Give it a little extra sparkle. Let's come back and see. It just gives it an extra little boost, and it's a little bright, and you can always just bring it back down opacity. Alright, right click. We're coming to the end of my edit, and I've lost everybody. You know what though? I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna give her lips some color here. Her lips are a little dull. So let's go ahead and keep it in the pink family. Here, go to color. Brush. And brush on some color here. And you can do this with anything you want to change the color to. So if you wanted to, you can come up here and make her eyes red. We're not going to do that though, but you could. Give her lips a little extra. And I know that's a bit much, but as I said, I always do it strong and then come back and I weaken it down. See how much better that is. It just kind of gives you an extra little little extra rosiness. Let's see what some rosiness in her cheek will do. I'm going to come to brush and I'm going to do my opacity. Oh, my opacity is already at 50. Let's do 20. Let's give her a little bit of a blush in the cheek. Just kind of give her some red in there. What does that look like? I just gave her a little bit of color back in her cheeks. Looks good. Now notice that the shadows of how her angles is and the shadows are, is it kind of made her nose look a little crooked. So I'm going to go and fix that. I'm going to go to filter, liquify. I'm going to zoom in here. And with the push tool, just kind of push some shadows around so that way it looks a little more natural, like how it does in real life. The way I shot and the angles and stuff are just a little bit, making her look a little bit off. Doesn't need much. Like instant nose job. She's good. Something I do for a lot of them is I like the new tool for liquify that Adobe has, because it detects the face, and if you click this, you can make, look at that, it just makes her eyes bigger or smaller. It's pretty cool. Usually I'll just bump it to maybe like 10. It's not a huge difference, just a little bit. Her smile. I like her smile. She's got a beautiful smile. But you can kind of see how you can give her, not that she needs any more plump in those lips. You can always give a little plumpness to somebody's face or to lips. You can zoom out just a little bit. Looking good. Then you always have like, you can always help somebody's like bring their hairline down just a little bit sometimes if the light hits it or it's parted a little bit, and then you can mess with the jaw lines, make her head bigger or smaller. But she is overall really good with any of this. Look at this eye distance. Liquify is pretty fun. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and hit OK. And you can kind of just see all the little things that we did. We just brought the hairline down a little bit and widened her eyes and her nose. Her nose is the biggest thing here. Alright, we're looking good. Let's go ahead and flatten that. And then we can go and do the history palette and the before and after. Looks good. Now the last thing I do is I'll come to my actions and I have a sharpen. So I'll click that and I'll do an extra sharpen. Just kind of gives you that extra little boost. It also gives your blackens your blacks a little bit, so I'll bring that down sometimes a little bit. Flatten image, and there you go. You can go to File, Save, and then if you go back to your Lightroom by just clicking over here, it'll automatically just save. See, there it is. So it's the before and the after. So then you just come to your brushes and you go down and you find that watermark that you have and you pick a color, pop it on there, 100% brush, pop it on there, and we'll choose where it goes. Actually, I like the first one. Go to File, Save As, and I'm going to put Lissa watermark. I'm gonna save it on my desktop. Let it catch up here. Desktop. Save it as a JPEG. And just save it. Hit OK. And then you bring up your Facebook. Hi, Hopper. There you go. Add it to your Facebook. So I put it on my desktop. Here it is, Lisa watermarked. I'm going to choose. I'm going to go, what a fun live edit. And you're going to post it. There you go. And it's posted. And there you go. I'd ask for questions, but I don't think anybody's watching anymore. Alright. If you want to see more or learn more in the group, or you have any questions, feel free to post pictures, ask questions into this group. It's called Photography Go From Beginning to Advanced with Isabelle Roza, and I'll also put the link below. It's just a fun little community that kind of just gets to follow me along as I learn and teach and do fun things. And I'm hoping to start doing some workshops in Florida here in the next year. I've already set something up with a designer. I'm super excited. And I hope to hear from you guys soon. Alright, then I will talk to you guys later.